Let us start with the Q&A for tonight. Second question. Oh, second question is like banyak susah lah for me. Aiyo. Please go through the 17 thoughts moment. What are they and their respective functions? Example, what is bhavanga, arresting bhavanga, jhana, etc., so that the yogis can understand and grasp the nature of mental phenomena? I think you look for the wrong teacher right now. You got to go for those Abhidhamma scholars to go through all these type of things. For me also, sometimes I also forget all these type of things. But nevertheless, I have some idea. But you ask me to go deeper than that. I have not much of it. I have not much of it. Even if I could to tell you a lot of things that what I know, also perhaps it may not be beneficial for you. It is only will be more of a curiosity, to satisfy certain curiosity. Now, okay. Before we go through these 17 thought moments, for those who are Mong Cha Cha, what is 17 thought moments? 17 thought moments it's connected with our sense doors. Connected means eye door here, hearing or smelling or tasting or touching. Or seeing, smelling, hearing, tasting, touching. So there are 5 doors. There are 5 doors, 5 sense doors. And when you have these 5 sense doors, there's these 17 thought moments. It is for this, in a way, the body part. Although it's different, but this is for the senses. This is not for the mind, the 17 thought moments. It's not for the mind. The mind, again, has a stream of thought moments also. A stream of thought moments, I got not 17, but less than that. So this, when we say the 17 thought moments, usually it meant for the sense doors. Now, is it important for us yogis to know about these 17 thought moments? Well, if you are a beginner, then there's no necessary. If you are a beginner, then it's not necessary. Okay? You don't even know what this bhavanga and jhana. If you do not know, does not matter. You can still able to start off with a meditation. All right? Now, if you, let's say, you do not know what is this bhavana, jhana, and so on, can you still get enlightened if you practice? Yes, you can still get enlightened. Not to worry about that. You can still get enlightened, even you do not know all these type of things. But is it good for us to know as a yogi a number of these Abhidhamma aspects? Yes, it is good, because for some people, it helps them to have more confidence in the practice. Some may not be necessary. So if you build up the confidence, build up the understanding, then yes, then go ahead. And also sometimes devotees, Buddhist devotees, there are certain inclination of their mind. Some likes to have a little bit more studious, more reflecting, thinking, deep thinking about how the mind works, how the body works. Then they want to go into Abhidhamma. Then they have inclination in doing those things. Well, it's perfect. It's good. But there are some also devotees who do not have that much of an inclination to think about all this Abhidhamma and so on. All they want to do is do dana, keep their sila, meditate, things like that. Is it okay? That is also okay. It's just that the inclination of the person is different. All right? So here this nature of this Abhidhamma thing, is an optional thing. It is good for us to know. Sometimes there are a number of things that we should know, because that in the Dhamma talks, the teachers tend to use this type of words and so on. At least we know roughly a little bit here and there. But if you want to know more about it, then you have to go through all the Abhidhamma course, which is a number of lay teachers and also monks. Currently, Reverend Jyotinanda is teaching this Abhidhamma and so on. So you got to go and look for all these type of courses to understand this nature of this mind. Because in understand also a little bit of these thought moments, we got to also understand the beginning part of it, what it means by wholesome consciousness, unwholesome consciousness, what is rooted consciousness, what is not rooted consciousness, and things like that. A little bit here and there. So anyway, since you asked for these 17 thought moments and so on, so a single object, that when we note a single object, let's say when you note hardness of the body, when you note a single hardness, 17 thought moments already passed through. And provided that hardness that you notice are very clear to you. Not bong bong, not that you meditate and you do not know what you are looking at. Bante, I do not know whether it was there or not there. If it's not there or not there, then it's not, the 17 thought moments are not really there. Less than that. After we go through. But when you say 17 thought moments here, you must just remember that this is only when your object is very clear to you, exceptionally clear to you. If you see something here, let's say, if your eye got cataract right now, let's say, you see things are bong bong, not so clear one, then it doesn't come into 17 thought moments. Or you're half deaf, let's say you're half deaf, then when the strong sound impinge into your ear, but because you're half deaf, then it doesn't come into 17 thought moments. If you are fully capable, your eyesight, your hearing is all perfect, then when the strong object impacted to your eyes or the impact impinged into your ears, then these 17 thought moments become manifesting. It manifested. So this is how these 17 thought moments are meant for, only for a clear object, absolutely very clear object. Now, to go through what is these 17 thought moments, like this. Let me go through a little bit. Can you see all? Oh, you cannot see all. Let me put it slightly smaller, because there are 17. So let me put this aside. Wait. All right. Wait. Hold on. Put on the focus. You can see a little bit more. Yes. Okay. So before we take this, okay, let me see again. Okay, this is a sense door. Let's say we use an eye consciousness. We use an eye consciousness. All right. That means here, let's say an eye consciousness, you see an object. You see an object for just, let's say, just for 1 second, and it's clear to you. Let one second, let's say, let 1 second, 17 consciousness has already passed through. And let's say it's clear to you. The 17, all these things are already passed through. And then, let's say you look at it for about 1 minute. If you look at it 1 minute, that means these things has gone through this stream of consciousness has passed through 60 times already. Let's say let's say. But the thing is that right now, what we are looking at right now, can you notice that your mind, all this consciousness passing through? Tak boleh cannot. Exactly, because cannot. But just to give you an example, but in reality, it's much faster than this. I mean, we are talking about 1 second. It's not just 1/17, it's many 17s gone through. We do not know how many. They said millions, but I really do not know. I really do not know. So the thing is that here, according to this Abhidhamma, is that when you note something, for example, if you happen to in the meditation and you note a single object of touch or hardness, is already passing through all these 17, and you note again hardness, then 17 keep on running, something like that. So these are not, you must look at things they are very dynamic. They are not just 70, but they are just keep on going and going and going and going. And then with this thing, it presented over to the mind consciousness again, a mind door consciousness, mind door, and then mind door consciousness got another set of a stream of consciousness again. Okay, so it's a bit complicated, bit complicated. Now, okay. Now let's see what are these things, because some of these things are also quite helpful. Maybe we're going to touch on some of the things that I've mentioned on Wednesday, especially on the karma thing, when it comes to the jhana. Okay. Now, streams of bhavanga. The streams of bhavanga here, you must like imagine like this 17, all these 17 is like a beads, They are beads, You wear your necklace, let's say, you wear a necklace, beads, and then it's stringed by a string, the string that go through the beads. Let's say these streams of bhavanga is considered like the string that is connecting two beads together. Right? It connects the two beads together. And they can be very short, and they can short in the sense of duration, very short, or they can be quite long. But while you are looking at something, let's say, that stream is a very short one. So you come out from the stream, they call a past bhavanga, vibrating bhavanga, arresting bhavanga. Again, this arresting bhavanga is a mental stream. Then it is settled off. Then it starts with the 5-door adverting consciousness. Now, this 5-door adverting consciousness, that means the mind starts to advert to the object. Start to advert to the object. And then the next one is the I consciousness. Now, the I consciousness is the consciousness that you are looking. What you are seeing right now is this I consciousness. And there are going to be many I consciousness that is going to go through. After that, you come to this receiving consciousness, investigation consciousness, determining consciousness. All this, I think, if I'm not mistaken, all these are all your resultant consciousness. What have you done in your past? Resultant consciousness, something like that. I think one of it is functional consciousness. Anyway, now, the next one, this one, usually we only look at number 5. Okay? This is usually when you take I consciousness, we look at number 5 only. The rest of it, we don't bother about it too much until when it comes with the karma thing. So, number 5, this is what the most important when we look at all this sense door process. Then this one is all receiving, investigation, determining, is all this resultant consciousness. Okay. Now, when it comes to number 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, this 7 consciousness, 7 jhana consciousness. The Pali word for this jhana, the English translation for jhana is called running. What is the same consciousness that's going to run through for 7 times. And this will be the karmic force. That means it's going to be wholesome or unwholesome for us lay people, for us non-enlightened one. If you are Arahant, Buddha, then it's another matter again. So here, 9 to 15, this is where your karma is going to be linked to your. You're going to create a new karma in the process. See, you see the one at number 9? Okay. Number 9 is the first jhana consciousness. All right. Now, the first jhana consciousness, it is said that according to the Abhidhamma, if your karma is going to ripen in this life, then it occurs at this jhana. Let's say it is let's say if there's a killing consciousness, killing due to hatred consciousness. So the hatred consciousness at this number 9, if let's say this number 9 comes up in that sense, then it's going to produce resultant in this very life itself. Okay? In this very life. Now, after that, you see number 15 here, the last jhana consciousness. They say that the last jhana consciousness here is going to produce karma in the next life, immediately your next life. Right? You're going to produce immediately karma in your next life. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. This one, all these 5 consciousness, from 10 to 14, here it's going to produce in the subsequent lives. That means not in this life, not next life, in the future lives. Do not know when, but all the future lives. All this, whether it's wholesome or unwholesome resultant, is going to produce from that. Yeah. Now, how is it going to produce and so on? I said all these things is that you cannot really know. Let's say perhaps because of this 17 consciousness, all these 17 consciousness will keep on running again and again, repeatedly again and again. So therefore, when your karma will strike you, some of this process will happen. All the karma thing will happen at number 9. Some will happen at number 15. Some will happen at number 10 to 14. Other words, when you start killing, your resultant is going to be this life, next life, and subsequent life also. Because you got to imagine again, it's not just one stream. It's going to be many streams. Many of this process is going to go through just by you do see something, or you act on something, or you're killing, or a wholesome action, and so on. So a lot of this thing is going to happen. Some of you say that, wow, how come I do dana so much? I don't get rich one. How come the karma still not producing in this life yet? Don't ask me already that one. So I really do not know how exactly this thing is going to run, So this is something on the streams and so on. Now, if you want to understand a little bit on this process, let me show you where you can read for more explanation and so on. You can have more explanation and you want to read about it, perfect. Okay, now here. Can y'all see this one? Rebirth, linking life continuum, Bhavanga consciousness. Okay, now let me close this thing. Let me make it a bit wider for all of you to see. Alana, make the font a bit bigger. Okay. You see what it mean by Bhavanga, the word Bhavanga, then this is in the, sorry, this one is in the comprehensive manual of Abhidhamma. This book. Comprehensive manual of Abhidhamma. This is by Bhikkhu Bodhi. So you can download it from the internet also. Okay, there you see what it means by Bhavanga. At least he explained to you what is Bhavanga. Now, Bhavanga is one of the objects that when there's no process, mental process, then this Bhavanga take place. When you are sleeping, this Bhavanga take place. When you are dreaming, the Bhavanga Chitta stop, and then your active consciousness will start to take place. When your dream disappear, then it goes into Bhavanga again. Now, when you are awake also, when every day when you are awake, when you from seeing you go into hearing, then in between of seeing and hearing process, there is a Bhavanga, but it's a very short Bhavanga. It's still there. So this is what it means. Then what else you want to know? Then it says that here is the adverting consciousness, 5-door adverting consciousness. What it means by 5-door adverting consciousness? How the mind is advert to the object. Then after that, you get seeing consciousness, etc. The ETC is seeing, smelling, tasting. This is the 5-door consciousness and so on. It tells you a number of things. Then after that, what else? Okay, you got receiving consciousness. Then you got this jhana thing. The literal meaning of the word is running swiftly. Running, it's just passed through. And then all this, again, you got to know what before, what are this thing, and then you got the registration consciousness, you got the death consciousness, the earlier one, you got the, all these things, you got so many names for it. How are we going to go through in one, one Q&A session? So it's interesting to know. It's interesting to know all these things, but you need guidance, you need teachers, and also you need some, again, basic understanding of Abhidhamma, and then from the basic understanding, you build up as those things starts to get connected together, then you understand how these 17 thought moments are going through. Okay. Now, before we go through this 17, again, I've got slightly more things for you to show you a little bit, make things a bit more complicated for you. Now, you see, I can't make this thing become bigger anymore. Let me see. I don't know whether you can still see this or not. Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Full screen mode. Okay. Hey. Oh, cannot. You can't see. Sorry. Can I go full screen mode? Full screen mode, you can't see anything. Oh, can you see right now? Okay. All right. Okay. Grades of sense door process. Now, just now, when we talk about the 17 consciousness, this is when it is connected to a very great object, That means the object that impinge on your eye is a very clear. It starts with past Bhavanga, vibrating Bhavanga, arresting Bhavanga, 5-door adverting consciousness, I-door consciousness, receiving, investigation, determining, jhana, registration. This is only for a very great object. Then, when the object is slightly less, it's called a great object, then you have a slight object and a very slight object. Now, even some of the object, for example, you don't even have jhana anymore. For example, you see the slight object here, the slight object, and the very slight object, there's no more J already. That means when there's no more J, that means it's not karmically active anymore. It's all just a Bhavanga arresting and so on, and then go back into Bhavanga again. That means they are not all the time, it's going to produce karma. 明白吗？你们？So don't worry about so many of these names and this one and that. I just want to show you that what we see or what we touch or what we hear is only when it's a very great object and a great object, then there are certain karma is going to come in. But if the things become lesser and very slight, there's not even the karma is going to produce. It's just passing through, and then it's just like, for example, your eyes is just passing through and something, but it doesn't really register into your mind. Then a very slight object, then it doesn't create any much of karma. So it's the same thing when we touch and when we hear and so on. Right? So don't worry about these things too much. It's just that what I want to share for you all is that where's this one? I just want to share this is because that since the question is asked, and then whether it's necessary for us to notice all these 17 consciousness and so on and on. So not necessary. As a Vipassana meditator, we don't have to go through all those type of things. But the thing is that, can this 17 consciousness be noticed in a more advanced level? Then the answer is yes. The answer is yes, it can be noticed. But when should you notice this thing? Wait till the Arahant first, then you go and notice all these things. Yeah, because it's not necessary. But if you want to do it after you get Arahantship only lah. Not Sotapanna also. No. Sotapanna is perhaps the wisdom factor also is not so strong. So notice it after you become Arahant. Then only you notice all these 17 consciousness and so on, and how this consciousness arises and how they become clear to all the yogis and so on. That later part now. And also this one, the 17, this stream of consciousness, it falls under, it's not fall under an ordinary meditator also, or ordinary Arahant also. It falls under, I think, those who have the four analytical knowledge, the four Patisambhida, the Arahants that come with four Patisambhida. This is also a kind of a supernormal power, but I don't know why they didn't put it under the supernormal power. But this one, because of the wisdom factor is very sharp, it can able to go further than the normal Arahants, and it can able to look into the various different levels of consciousness, various different level of insight, and how you're going to look at the insight from which angle and so on. So this comes in with analytical knowledge. So those Arahants who have the wisdom power is very strong, very powerful, then they can actually see this 17 consciousness, they can see these mental processes and so on. And then they can do that. And I really, at one time, I heard that some Vipassana meditator, after they learn about these 17 thought moments, they want to go and meditate, and then they want to see all the stream, how they pass through. No, you cannot. Don't do that. Wasting your time. You don't have to do that. In a Vipassana, what is important is the prominency of an object. It's not about how many consciousness, how many jhana you're going to see, how many determining consciousness, how many functional consciousness. You are not going to see all those things. We are just want to see arising and passing away, the impermanence of the consciousness, not the different names of the consciousness, not the different, all these things of the consciousness. We just want to know the impermanency of the consciousness, the non-self of the consciousness, the suffering aspect, the dukkha aspect of the consciousness. Because when you see these things, it brings you towards enlightenment. If you only want to see all these 17 things and you don't want to see the impermanent and all that thing, then you're shooting at the wrong target. You're shooting at the wrong target. So you make sure that you know what you're doing. Although we learn Abhidhamma, it's to help us to understand a certain number of things. But whatever the Abhidhamma says, don't try to gao gao, pandai pandai, when they do it, you're going to have a lot of problem. Yeah?